All right, I'm going to be checking some audio levels here. Thanks for tuning in to Ricky Tiki TV. I know I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. A lot going on, but mostly just trying to get to the gym and get in a little better shape. However, I did come across a new guitar, which is what I wanted to talk about in this video. So yeah, it seems like the audio level is good. So we're going to go ahead and roll with that. And all right, we're going to start now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. This is going to be a quick live video on my new Zakk Wylde Epiphone guitar that I just got, and some things that you need to know if you ever decide to purchase one, which is also true to Slash Signature Epiphones or Gibsons, Zakk Wylde Epiphone or Gibson guitars, and likewise also with other signature guitars like Sinister Gates' Schecter or whatever. But so the first thing I'm going to go ahead and review or talk about this guitar that I got. So here it is. This is the Zakk Wylde Epiphone Les Paul. It's kind of funny because I broke a string on it. Well, the guy that I got it from said that Zakk Wylde likes to put his strings, reverse. So he would bring them in and then bring them back around like this. And you can actually see there maybe how he did that. But this was a horrible idea because there's just not a lot of stability there. And, my B string just snapped off when I was, soloing with this thing. So I highly recommend just bringing it straight through the correct way so there's not so much tension right here. But, he said, oh, Zakk Wylde does it. And I decided I was going to do it. But, yeah, whatever. So this guitar is really nice. I mean, for metal music, I mean, this guitar is perfect. Just take off one of my earplugs here so I can hear if my daughter starts crying or whatever. This thing is great for metal music. Like I was saying, it's got a really high distortion. These are active EMG pickups. I think 81s and 85s, the 85 being in the bridge position and the EMG 81 in the neck position. I might have to go check those facts here soon, but that's what I think is in there. Now, when I plug this thing up into my amp, this thing sounds killer. I mean, a lot of sustain, a lot of gain. It sounds great, which I'm gonna show you guys in the future. I'm gonna do a little review in depth on the sound and stuff of this thing. But man, I was really surprised how close this thing comes to my Gibson Les Paul. As far as the quality and everything, I mean, this thing is really nice. I mean, the paint job or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it's a paint job or a decal, but it's nice nonetheless. Flip this thing over here. There's the serial number, the little Zakk Wylde emblem there, and here's the back of it. Now you have to put batteries in here because this is these are active pickups, which is really great for gain or whatever. What I really wanted to talk about in this video is because after I got this thing, I was kind of in shock because I found out that these things are copied like crazy through the Chinese markets. There's a lot of fake Chinese Zakk Wylde Epiphones, Zakk Wylde Gibsons. There's a lot of fake slash Epiphone signatures, a lot of fake slash Gibsons, and I'm sure it goes for all the other signature models out there. But I know for a fact through research that the Zakk Wylde and slash models are highly, highly copied and counterfeited and sold off as the real deal. So I would encourage you to really look into making sure that you're not getting a counterfeited copy, especially if you're buying on Craigslist or through a third party, just people selling it, whatever, or maybe even through a friend because maybe they got it from somebody and they don't know, so they sell it off as the real deal to you without any evil intentions there. But yeah, you end up with a fake. So I just jumped on this thing because this guy was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it," and I traded my Marshall amplifier for it. And then when I got back home, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna look into this and kind of see it, look up the serial number and everything." And there's a little, I don't know if you can see it, but it says Zakk Wylde in there. It says Zakk Wylde Les Paul Custom. So I get home, I go on Google, I type the stuff in, and then man, I see a lot of stuff on the internet that's talking about how much these things are counterfeited, and it really kind of scares the crap out of me. I'm like, oh man, did I get a fake Chinese Zakk Wylde Epiphone? I mean, this was going to be very bad, you know, especially with trading it for my Marshall tubes. But so I look into it, and there's a lot of things you can look for when you're trying to get one of these to make sure it's not a counterfeit. And I'm going to go over some of those. I'm going to pull up a website here and kind of get you on that. Let's see. You can see. Let's see. But and there's a guy on here that did a really good blog post on this about how to spot a fake one. So let me just get down in here. See if this is the website. I'm just pulling up the website because I'm going to change the camera view here in a second, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. All right, so this is a good example here. Anyways, let me go ahead and get back to you guys. So I'm looking up on the internet, and I'm like, man, I hope I didn't pick up a fake one because that's going to be very, you know, I kind of tried it out in the parking lot or whatever, and it felt good, but I was just so excited that it was the Zakk Wylde signature that I just didn't really think much more about it besides checking the fretboard and see if it was level and everything and not bowed in. So like I said, when I got back home, I started doing a lot of research on this, and it scared the crap out of me. There's a few things you can look for, and this applies also to the slash signature and the Gibson models. First and foremost, on the Epiphone models, the first thing you want to do really is go to the website, Epiphone or whatever, and type in your serial number and see if that gives you a hit. Now it'll tell you the year it was manufactured. It'll tell you what warehouse or manufacturing place it was, you know, made at. And this happens to be I'd have to look it up again, but it was a real Epiphone manufacturing plant that this came out of. So on the Epiphone models, what you want to make sure is that there's 3 screws here, because a lot of the times in the fake Epiphone Zakk Wyldes, you know, the Chinese knockoffs, they'll have just 2 screws here on this plate, and this plate says Zakk Wylde Les Paul Custom. And if it has 2 and it's an Epiphone, go ahead and be really suspicious at that point. Be really suspicious, because the only versions that have 2 screws are the Gibson models. And I'll go ahead and get my Gibson here and kind of show you that. So this is a real Gibson Les Paul. I got this at Guitar Center for $900 on sale, and the reason I got it on sale was because there was a little chip in it. And that was it. But Guitar Center, American Music Supply, Sweetwater, all those guys are authorized dealers. They say that Amazon is an authorized dealer. However, I would be very, very skeptical about getting it on Amazon, especially if you don't know the difference between a third-party seller on Amazon and Amazon. Like I was saying, see, here's the 2 screws. Now on the Gibson models, there's 2 screws here. And sometimes on those fake Chinese knockoffs, they'll put 2 screws on those Epiphones, like the Gibsons have it, but the Epiphones use 3. And this one here, I mean, these guys are pretty good. Like, this is an indented, like they punched this into the wood, the serial number, and it says made in USA right here. But you know, the Chinese, they can do that too. So don't be fooled by that. Anyways, let's get back to the Epiphone here. So the fake ones, they'll have 2 screws here, and that's the first sign that it could be a fake. Now also, you can, if you look on here, it says I don't know if you can see it, it says Zakk Wylde Les Paul Custom. There's spaces in between those words. A lot of the times the Chinese knockoffs, they just crumble it all together and it says Les Paul Custom, 1 word, Zakk Wylde, 1 word, no spaces in between those. So let me go ahead and switch you guys to this website. All right. Let's go ahead and get the screen share here. All right. So once we get into screen share, which we should already be into, I'm going to keep on moving a little farther here. All right. So what you want to look for, these control knobs in this first photo here. These up here in this top photo, it says tone on it. They're like silver caps. Excuse me. They're like silver caps on the top of the volume and the tone knobs. Yeah, that's a big sign that it's going to be a fake, because I think the only version that used these kind of knobs was on the Zakk Wylde. It's like the camouflaged Zakk Wylde model. So look for that. And this picture below here with these black knobs, let me just zoom in for you. These are the real knobs you want to look at. These are the true, that's what's on my Epiphone, that's what's on my Gibson actually, are these types of knobs. Now, you look back up here, look at the placement of these knobs compared to the stripes here. That's a big, they're off. They're not in the right spots. If you looked over here. So let's go ahead and so let's use this where do we want to go here? Well, these are pretty close. A lot of the times these knobs will be in like completely different spots than the stripes, but like I said, these Chinese knockoffs are getting closer and closer to looking like the real deal. So you have to be really extremely careful when you're purchasing one of these. Now, if I'm trying to just kind of look at how the knobs are positioned here, so these 2 are kind of falling on the bottom, yep, and then the top one's here. So these are kind of nicely located. So But still, look out for these knobs if you're going to get the bullseye version of the Zakk Wylde Epiphone, or Les Paul for that matter. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Yeah, here's another big one. Now on the Zakk Wylde signature models, they don't have, the real ones don't have this rhythm and treble coil under it, under the switch here, under the selector switch. The real ones do not have this rhythm and treble coil under it. Now here's a genuine. This is how they're supposed to look. They don't have it under there at all, because that's not how Zakk Wylde wanted his. He wanted it like this. So it's little stuff like that. With this headstock, you can look at this. The real Epiphone headstock serial numbers don't start off with these big bulky E's here and then go into a set of numbers. They actually look I'll show you on mine earlier, but later, but they don't look like that. Little things like that, and you can see here his guitar's kind of like going into the toning knob or whatever, tuning knob, and it's just not symmetrical here. And they wouldn't put a real one out like that. But let's go down here. So here's a fake neck. You see how this brown here is a little darker than the rest of the neck? Well, the real ones aren't like that. They look like this. And again, this isn't just on the Zakk Wylde signatures and the Slash signatures. They're doing this on the real standard Gibson Les Pauls. They're doing this on the, I don't even know why. They don't really mess with them too much on the regular Epiphone standards because they're already cheap, but on the Gibsons they do, and they sell them off as the real thing. So you want to be real careful about what you're buying on the internet through third parties. I can try to see if there's something else out here. There is. Let's see. This is gonna be another. This is just a forum here. See, I read all these forums, and man, I was like really scared here. Yeah, these are just more forums. So my wife, she just walked in from her date with her friend, so she'll probably pop in here. But let's go ahead and see if we can find another one. Some more photos here. Nope, that's it. But like I was saying, you want to make sure that you're getting the real one and not the fake one. So I'm gonna hold you off here. Let's see. We'll go. Well, I can't. 1 second. So when you're looking at these, you want to make sure that you're getting the real deal. You don't want to be cheated out of $1,000 or whatever because you got the wrong one. I'm just skating through here to try to see where that other blog post was. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to camera. I don't want to do that. Where is the... Okay. Yeah, all right, so I'm back. So let me just get here. So yeah, check this stuff out, research it, especially if you're going to buy on Craigslist, if you're going to buy off eBay, if you're buying even from a friend, because they might have a knockoff and not know it. Um, I'll show you guys real quick how even my emblem here, I got lucky that it wasn't a fake. You see how his guitar is not going into the tuning knob? Yeah, little stuff like that will get you hemmed up quick. I gotta get this string off of here. Another quick thing you can look for is if you were to draw an imaginary line through these, they would be exactly vertical. Maybe I can get back to that post and show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you, because a lot of the times they're not. And oh yeah, here's another one. I'm gonna bring you guys back over to the screen share. I mean, this is it's crazy that they're doing this. All right, so if you look here, let me just zoom out a little, put my guitar down, zoom out. This also applies now to the Gibson, any Gibsons. But with the Epiphone, it's going to be more so with the Slash and Zakk Wylde signature models, and also the Black Beauty. Look here. You see how big these coils are under here? I'm calling them coils. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but this little thing right up under the nut here. If you look over here on the real one, they're nowhere near as large as these things are. I mean, these things are huge. They almost come off the guitar here. Here they're not. They're not doing that. If you go down, even see what I was talking about, the vertical lines here. On the fake one, it just kind of, if you draw an imaginary line, they're just not matching up. On the real one, they do. They're vertical. And if you have this pick guard on here, if you draw that line through these two tone knobs here, it should hit that screw that connects into the body of the guitar. That's something you want to check for. You see how it's hitting that screw there all the way up through here? Same thing here on the real one. On the fake one, it wouldn't be close. It would not be close at all. Excuse me. So here's the Black Beauty here. These things are copied a lot. I'm trying to see what he's trying to get at here. Yeah, he's just going over like how to spot, you know, depending on the pick guards. But this is the big thing. These tone knobs, volume knobs, they should look like this. This should not be here. It should look like this. These big E's there, it shouldn't be like that. And actually, this serial number would not check out if you looked it up on the Epiphone website. This Zakk Wylde, the tip of this headstock here should not be hitting into this tone knob. This neck here should not be a different color than the neck. It should be a solid color like this. Then he just kind of goes on into the things you should look at. Yeah, look to see if it has two fat E's in the serial number. Make sure the washers on the tuners overlap the binding on the headstock. That's those big coils I was telling you about. They're just way too big for what a real one has. Yep. So here he says the signature Epiphones, such as the Zakk Wylde Slash, are copied quite often. So are the Black Beauty and custom models. So yeah, be aware of that. Go ahead and get back into this. So the whole point of this video was to kind of help you guys to make sure you're not getting a knockoff guitar when you're buying one from a third-party seller that's not an authorized dealer. Now this goes for pawn shops, anywhere, because pawn shops are easily fooled when it comes to stuff like this, unless they have a guitar guru in there, which I wasn't even myself. I could have easily been scammed with that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like there's no editing in this video. It was, straight live. Thanks for bearing with me if that's what you've done. This video, I'll keep it on YouTube for further information. But don't get scammed. I mean, people are paying thousands, like $1,500, $2,000 for fake Chinese guitars, and they come close to looking like the real deal. But they're gonna sound like crap. They're gonna play like crap. The wood's not as good of quality. Uh, the Just the whole process of manufacturing, the quality control is not there with these knockoffs like it is in these other shops like Gibson or even Epiphone. They all have a quality control to make sure that they're not going to diminish their brand by selling you a $700, $800 guitar that sounds like crap. They're going to do their best to avoid that. Another thing, look for the thrust rod that goes through the neck. A lot of these fake Gibsons and Epiphones don't have a thrust rod. You pop off where that little Zakk Wylde emblem was that's written on there, or it'll say Les Paul or whatever. Unscrew those 3 screws or 2 screws on the Gibson. Look down in there and make sure there's a thrust rod, because on a lot of the fake Gibsons and Epiphones, there won't be one. There may be a nut, but there's no rod in there at all. So it's something else to check for. Again, thanks for watching. Let me get back over here. Thanks for watching. I'll be putting up another video soon, actually how the Zakk Wylde Les Paul sounds. I mean, it sounds great. It sounds really good. And that'll do it for this video. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.